we're going to hear from another grantee. It is time for another conversation. Yep. We had the pleasure to talk to these folks last year. It's HVAF. They work with veterans. You're going to hear all about them. Todd and Megan are going to be talking with them. So I'm excited for you to hear their story, to hear what they're about. If you missed last year, you're not going to want to miss this conversation. And to kick it off, we've got a little video that kind of tells you a little bit more about that. So producer Christian, we are ready. Let's fire away on that video.
HVAF has been here in Indianapolis since 1993. We started as a transitional housing only agency, and we had one house with room for 5 veterans. Thankfully, we've expanded over the last almost 30 years, and now we're serving over 1,300 veterans every single year in our housing programs.
How prevalent is homelessness in Indianapolis among our veterans?
Veterans are much more likely to be homeless than non-veterans, and that's the case here in Indianapolis as well. In fact, the point-in-time count this year, 13% of those experiencing homelessness were veterans.
And what is the contributing factor? What causes, if there is one, if there is a general theme, if you will, what leads to that with our veterans?
Sure, there are many factors that a veteran might fall into homelessness for. Unemployment is a big one. Substance use, mental health, and physical health challenges are also really prevalent among the veterans we serve.
So we are standing in the food pantry.
We are.
Tell us a little bit about how this works.
So our food pantry is open every Tuesday and Thursday, and this is a great way for others to get involved. What you see is all donated food. We rely on the generosity of our community to help feed veterans who are facing food insecurity here in Indianapolis. So every Tuesday and Thursday, the pantry is open. It's also run by volunteers, which is another opportunity for people to get involved. And veterans can come as many times as they need during the month because we know, especially now, food prices are higher and veterans are needing more assistance. So we've got a variety of non-perishable items. We're also grateful to have a freezer and refrigerator so we can offer dairy and meat items as well.
That's great. If there's a veteran out there watching and needs the help, how do they come to you? How can they get this assistance?
They can just walk in any Tuesday and Thursday from 11:30 to 2:30, bring a verification of their service, so that might be a military ID or a veteran's ID from the VA hospital, get checked in our system, and come to the pantry.
What about some of the other programs? I mean, we know that there's more than just the pantry. We know there's more needs.
Absolutely. When veterans fall into homelessness, I think of it like a snowball. So, maybe a veteran loses his or her job and they get behind on their child support and they can't get to work and they lose their license. And so we want to make sure that we offer as much assistance as possible to give veterans the best opportunity to get back to the life they deserve to live. So in addition to our housing programs, which we have a wide spectrum of housing, we've got temporary transitional housing. We also do rental assistance out in the community, and we have permanent supportive housing. So we're a landlord, and veterans can move into our apartments and stay as long as they need. All of that comes with case management because we know housing is not the only answer. But we also have an employment program, so we can work with veterans who are looking for a job right now, or we can work with veterans who are interested in kind of switching up their career and want to invest the time for additional training and skills for a new career. And we also offer legal assistance. We partner with the Neighborhood Christian Legal Clinic, and they dedicate an attorney half-time to be here to work directly with our veterans on civil issues like taxes, bankruptcy, child support, all of that. Because again, like, homelessness is not just a lack of housing. There are often many other things going on as well. And then our food and clothing pantries are open to any veteran as well. We want to set veterans up for success for the long term. So just immediately placing in housing isn't going to do it. If they don't have income to support it, if they're not linked to mental and physical health care, we're just going to delay some of the problems that will come up later.
How did you come to this position? What brought you to HVAF?
Sure.
Your story, I guess, a little bit of that.
So I'm relatively new in this position. I've been the CEO here since October. So just, I guess, 9 months now, maybe not new anymore. I've been at the agency though for almost 10 years. And before that, I worked for Senator Lugar for 10 years, and I was his Military and Veterans Affairs Coordinator in the state of Indiana. I've always been really passionate about serving those who serve our country. So when the Senator retired in 2012, I wanted to continue in that work, and HVAF was looking, and I was able to join the staff here as their first sort of public policy person, and then just developed over the years and got promoted in the fall of last year.
That's awesome. Do you come from a background of veterans, like a family of service members?
My husband is currently serving in the Indiana National Guard, but yeah, my stepdad's a veteran, my grandpa's a veteran, my brother is, my nephew's serving, so I guess a family of service.
We are here today at the Stream-a-thon to raise lots of money. But what are the other ways? You've mentioned a few ways that the general public can volunteer and help specific to the food pantry, but what are some other ways individuals can get involved? Maybe they don't have money to give, or what other assistance does HVAF need?
So we're always in need of more volunteers. As I mentioned, the food pantry is completely run by volunteers every Tuesday and Thursday. That's a big commitment. We don't expect everyone to come every time. So even if they can just come once, that would be really key. But we also have volunteer opportunities for large groups, companies that want to give back at all of our properties. We have 121 transitional housing beds and 47 apartment units that all need help. So whether that's mowing the lawn or planting flowers or painting or whatever their volunteer skill set is, we're happy to have it. And then again, food donations are key, especially in the summer months. People are really generous around the holidays, and then they kind of forget that people in our community are facing hunger every single day. So food donations in the summer are really key. And then obviously funding. We can't do this for free. And I think our veterans really deserve our assistance when they fall in hard times.
Food donations, do they just bring them here to headquarters where we are?
Yes, absolutely. We're open every Monday through Friday from 8 to 5 p.m. They can pull over right in front of the building and we'll even unload the car. It's as easy as can be.
And then if they want to get involved in other volunteer opportunity, like I love the idea of mowing grass, how do they get in touch with you all to sign up for that?
Visit our website, which is hvaf.org, and there's a Get Involved tab there, and you can sign up, and our team will follow up with you and get you scheduled for a volunteer opportunity.
Somebody who is on the fence about getting involved or making that donation, what advice would you give them?
I would say, we just celebrated 4th of July, where we, commemorated our freedom and our independence, and that's thanks to men and women who serve our country. And unfortunately, men and women who serve our country are much more likely to be homeless than those who don't. And I really feel that we have an obligation to care for those who willingly volunteer to serve our country, who are prepared to die if needed. When they come home, they shouldn't have to struggle. So I'm really honored to work at HVAF, knowing that we're a safety net for men and women who serve our country. And we need our community support to be able to be here to do that.
It's a way to thank them
Absolutely.
while they're still with us.
And a gratitude that they absolutely deserve.
100%. I'm sure it's hard to say which one is most important, but do you have a favorite program? Is there, or a favorite memory or something where you've really seen the impact?
I think the best way to see the immediate impact is here in the pantry. During COVID, it was really interesting, and I'm super proud. We never closed. We never missed a pantry day. We just moved it outside so veterans could come and still get the food that they needed. But during those times that were hard for everyone to find food, it was especially hard for those facing homelessness. And I remember we had a gentleman come and he was like, listen, I'm living out on the street. I just need some food. So I ran in here and packed him a bag of several things. And I took it out to him and he said, I just need a couple of things. Keep the rest for someone who really needs it. And it broke my heart. But it really shows how important our mission is here. That even when people are hungry and living out on the street, they're still thinking of others who they think are worse off than they are.
Is there anything that I haven't asked that you would love to highlight or give a shout out to?
Sure. I would love to encourage everyone to go to our website, hvaf.org, sign up for our newsletter and read our blog. We feature veterans every single month that have been successful in our programs. We're also sharing information about our needs and other things like that.
I love that. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All right, so hopefully you guys got a good idea of what we're about to do, which is we're going to dive deeper into everything that you just learned there. And I'm excited to welcome back. So this is exciting. Woo! You guys were with us last year. You're back again. We didn't scare you away. We've got Emmy Hildebrand, which is the CEO, and Ashley Walls, the Vice President of Advancement with HVAF, helping veterans and families. I'm just going to read the intro so I don't mess it up, if that's all right. So I apologize about looking at a paper. But helping veterans and families of Indiana believes that no hero should ever be homeless, and they're working to end homelessness among those that have served our country in the U.S. military. Through unique partnerships with the Department of Veterans Affairs and many community organizations, they provide housing and reintegration services for our local veterans experiencing homelessness. And we're going to dive in deep to all of that here shortly. But Megan and I, on our drive down, we were learning facts about homelessness in Indiana, and it was I don't remember the fact off the top of my head of what percentage of homelessness is attributed to veterans it was pretty eye-opening, and I know we're going to dive into all that, but let me just say, for those that are listening and watching right now, this is pay attention. This is really important for everyone to know about, especially here in Indiana. So first off, thank you guys for coming back. We appreciate that. Thank you. And thank you for supporting our community and everything that you guys do. So Meg, I'm going to let you kick it off with the first question. Hit them hard. Make it count.
Listen,
Bring it on.
Listen, I mean, Ashley, I'm just happy you guys came back again. You dealt with us last year. You were in
But you
the
gave us
mix.
free drinks last year, so it all worked out.
And we, after this,
That's true. That's a
should
good
have got you
point.
one before, but now after we got you again. But yeah, anytime. Thank you for coming back. It's been a year. So tell us what's been going on with you guys in HVAF since we saw you last time.
So this is a big year for us. We are celebrating 30 years serving veterans
nice.
here in Indianapolis.
Congratulations.
We've been celebrating that birthday all year long. I tell people you only turn 30 once, but maybe some of us have turned 30 a few times. But we started in March. We renamed our Veterans Community Center in honor of our first full-time CEO. We had a concert in the summer, and then we're having our annual fundraiser on November 10th. So we're going to take the
Nice.
celebration all year.
Nice.
It's really
I
cool.
just heard that Beyonce is celebrating her birthday by asking everybody that comes to any of her concerts for the next month to wear nothing but silver. Are you guys asking anybody to do something like that to celebrate with you?
We can do that.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
I don't know what the color is for 30, but maybe we can figure that out.
We do have some cool 30th anniversary
I'm
stickers.
wearing a new
yeah.
30th anniversary shirt.
Okay,
So
it's got the logo
Okay.
on the back, and so yeah, we've got some swag that we've been giving out all
Nice.
year.
Nice. I love it. What so HVAF, by the way, is there a fun way to say like HVAF or something like that?
So Ashley's going to kill you when we're done. We've gone through
Nope.
we've gone through many iterations of our name. Started actually as a chapter of Far From Home. It started by a veteran named Steve Peck. His dad is Gregory Peck, the actor To Kill a
Yeah.
Mockingbird and all that.
Okay.
We spun off from that, became the Hoosier Veterans Assistance Foundation, which is clunky and long.
Okay.
And then we became HVAF of Indiana, which has been called HVAF for a long time.
Yeah.
Trying not to do that.
Okay.
Sometimes people call and ask if we're HVAF, which I think is pretty entertaining. But Ashley is trying to get us all to say HVAF of Indiana, so
Okay.
that people don't
HVAF.
think that we do HVAC work.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's a guy.
Yeah, a lot of people hear that. A
Yeah.
lot of people hear that HVAC.
Just that part. Yeah.
That's true. That's
Yeah.
a good point. All right, see, now we
That's
know.
good.
All right, so let's talk about these veterans. And again, I'm going to find the percentages, and you guys probably know them off the top of your head of how many.
It is, well, what we have, and you guys correct me if I'm wrong, that up to 1/3 of all people experiencing homelessness in central Indiana are honorably discharged veterans. 1/3. Is that right?
I think it's a little high.
high.
In this year's point in time count, it's around 12 or 13%.
Wow.
Of those experiencing homelessness here in Indianapolis are veterans. And just
Okay.
to give perspective, there are not that many veterans that live in Marion County. About 50,000 of the almost million people that live here are veterans.
Really? Okay. Well, let me ask you this then. With 12 to 13% of them experiencing homelessness, what is leading to that? What's the contributing factors? I've seen movies about Vietnam. Vietnam was a long time ago. All right, things are different. What's going on today that still is leading to factors like homelessness?
There are a lot of contributing factors to homelessness. Just what you were alluding to is a big one: mental health and substance use, but also unemployment, unaffordable housing. A lot of us are, one crisis away from being behind on our
Right.
bills, and that can happen for veterans as well. And an example I like to use is like homelessness is a little bit like a snowball. So if you are a veteran and you lose your job and you get behind on your child support, the state of Indiana will suspend your driver's license. Then you can't get to work, and then you can't pay your rent, and you're still not paying your child support either. So a lot of these factors combine and become overwhelming for
Yeah.
people when they face homelessness.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Well, you mentioned the cost of living and how tough that is. We were looking earlier at some statistics of, just what people are being paid an hour right now, and how it really is truly hard to find a job, to be able to just pay for your house, any kind of living right now. It's really hard. So employment assistance is probably a big key to that, so that you can find a job that can help you pay for all of those things. Probably one of the biggest keys in reintegrating and having that job. What are some of the ways you guys help with that and you assist veterans?
Yeah, so we have a 11-person employment specialist team, or employment team full of 11 employment specialists.
Okay.
They work, so it's a two-part program. So one side is just working with veterans to help them work on their resume, job interview skills, work to prepare themselves for a job. And then those case managers actually work with employer partners around Central Indiana to place them into jobs.
Nice.
And the average rate, our employment specialist hourly rate has been about $20.
Really?
So it's actually pretty good considering.
Yeah.
The other side of our employment team, which we call our workforce development team, is called VetWorks.
Okay.
And it's a work, learn, and earn program where veterans, and it's one of our newer programs. I think we're in year 3.
Mhm.
And veterans come through this program first. They'll have a learning opportunity, an apprenticeship or an internship where they're going to get paid, but they're going to learn some soft skills. They're going to gain skills in the field that they want to be in, whether it's maintenance, logistics, IT. So they'll work, and we partner with Downtown Indy Inc. on that program. So
Nice.
they have
Street ambassadors.
Street ambassadors, what they've just renamed something else. But anyways, they have street ambassadors. And so a lot of our veterans go through and participate as street ambassadors for the first phase of the program. Second phase is a learning opportunity and education where they're getting certified in something, they're getting educated, they're doing a real apprenticeship in the field they want to. And then the third and final phase is a promising job. And our goal is a wage of $37,000 or more a year.
Okay.
So that is what we're doing. We serve about 200 veterans a year. We help them find jobs through those two programs. So it's our employment specialists stay busy.
Yeah.
That's a very cool and unique feature that you guys have and support to be able to make that's a huge difference to be able to help people and place them in a great job.
Yeah.
I was just going to say, just as you mentioned earlier, like the key to being able to afford your own place and pay your bills is a good job.
Yeah.
So being able to make that connection for veterans can really alter the trajectory of the rest of their life.
Yeah.
And it falls right into that snowball effect. If
Mhm.
you can't afford it, then it's all of a sudden everything else falls in place. Unfortunately, the wrong direction. So, and I love the whole idea of it's kind of like teaching them to fish instead of just kind of handing them a job that we're internship, we're learning, and then we'll be able to go for it and hopefully have a long lasting employment through that. Outside of the employment side, is there another side to HVAF of Indiana? See, I did that. See, I nailed it. Is there another side? Well, let me ask you. Let me spin it a different way. We are asking people today to give money to the Realtor Foundation, which supports organizations like yourself. So at some point, the trickle down effect of this is that money that is donated today. And again, thank you very much for everybody that has donated. Please continue to do so because that money will trickle down and HVAF will receive a portion of this money. What happens with that money? How does that support you guys, which then supports the veterans?
So our grant from the Realtor Foundation supports our employment program, which we just discussed. But get to your other question. We were founded to be a housing agency. So we actually had a group of dedicated volunteers, including a lady, her name is Louise Lloyd. She's now 98 and still active with HVAF. They came together and opened one house that had enough beds for 5 veterans to temporarily live in.
Nice.
So we've expanded over the years. We still offer transitional housing for about 120 veterans every night. But we do rental assistance and rapid rehousing in apartments out in the community for about 500 families a year.
Wow.
And more recently, we are in the permanent supportive housing business. So this is the housing intervention that's the most intensive for veterans who might need lifelong support to maintain their housing. So we have 62 units of permanent housing for veterans here in Indianapolis that are available, and they come with case management to make sure that veterans have what they need.
Yeah. And you said of Indianapolis, are you guys, is Indianapolis your main demographic, I guess, for the lack of a better term, or do you expand outside of Indianapolis?
We serve broader central Indiana. We have the most veterans here in the urban area, which is sort of typical for homelessness. There is rural homelessness. Veterans across our state in smaller communities are facing homelessness, but they tend to congregate where there's more support and more services, and that's here in Indianapolis.
And by the way, I want to reflect on the fact that you mentioned that it's not just the veterans, but it's the families as well, right? And so I want Terry's coming around. I want to make sure that we reflect on that this is, and it's in your name. It's not just the Department of Veterans. Well, I just read the wrong name, but helping veterans. It's also helping veterans and families, right? So how are the families impacted? Housing, obviously, and then if the veteran is receiving money or through employment, then obviously that supports the family too. But are there other programs or other ways that you're supporting these families?
Yeah, so we are being really intentional about coming alongside these families. Homelessness is a really traumatic experience for children, and we want to recognize that and offer support to them. So our staff are learning more about how to serve the whole family, and we actually have a Veteran Engagement Committee, which is just a group that formed organically within the organization of staff members who said, let's figure out a way to connect with these kids, especially and families who are impacted as well. So just a couple of weeks ago, we actually hosted a carnival, a back to school carnival for kids out at Brookside Park on the Near East Side. Some of our staff came up with all of the sort of carnival games. We had a duck pond and giant Jenga and just a bunch of things. So it's just a special day for kids to kind of escape the hard life that they have, that they don't deserve to have. And just for a minute, have a little fun, win some prizes. We have a staff member whose sister is a face painter. And so we had kids decorated in all kinds of ways, just to make it a little easier on the kids that have to go through these hard times.
Yeah. Honestly, you guys, I remember last year you two were, it was so impactful last year, and hearing all the stories. And to be honest, these veterans who have served our country and done it for us, it's our turn to help them. And so really, we appreciate what you guys do. We love to be any part of that. You can just tell how passionate you guys are about the cause and the people and these veterans. So just real quickly as we wrap up, what is next for you guys, and how can we learn more about what you're doing, and how can people get in touch with you to help in other ways other than just donating today?
So first, I just want to say thank you to the people donating today. It makes a huge difference in our community. I think the video probably said it, believe very strongly that no hero should be homeless. No person who voluntarily serves our country and is willing to die on our behalf should come back home to Indianapolis and be forced to struggle. We feel really honored that we can kind of stand in that gap and make sure that they get the help that they deserve. But as I mentioned at the start, we have a big year. So on November 10th, we'll be hosting our annual fundraiser. It's called Operation Alpha. Tickets are available on our website, hvaf.org. It's going to be a great night. We try to make it more fun and less stuffy. It's Hotel Tango provides all of the spirits for the night. So help encourage people to give a little more. But would really just love for our community to come alongside and help celebrate the work that we're doing, but also kind of recommit to the work that lies ahead.
Yeah.
But you can always visit our website, hvaf.org. Follow us on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram. We share at least 2 stories a month about a veteran and their family who's been impacted by the support of our donors. And they're worth, they're tear jerkers, but they're worth reading and investing in. So I would encourage folks to follow us on Facebook to read those stories, LinkedIn, sign up for our e-newsletter at hvaf.org.
Beautiful, beautiful. We appreciate you guys joining us. Again, this is Emmy Hildebrand and Ashley Walls with Helping Veterans and Families of Indiana, HVAF of Indiana. Check them out on all the social media sites. I'm guessing just look up Helping Veterans and Families of Indiana.
Yes, at Helping Veterans, at HVF of Indiana.
At HVAF of Indiana. So check them out. Go to their website. Help support them. If you feel this it kind of touches a place in your heart, please help donate. We are just at just short of $5,000. I would love to see us jump over 5,000 real quickly as we continue moving forward through the day. But again, we want to say thank you guys, Ashley, Emmy. We appreciate all that you do for our community and also joining us today. So thank you guys very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.